For all your legal matters including immigration, bankruptcy and credit card problems, divorce and family law, landlord and tenant matters, criminal and personal injury, call Gehi and Associates for a free initial personal consultation at 718-263-5999.
जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए, जब कोई मुश्किल आ जाए, तब हम आपका साथ देंगे. Anytime you have a complex immigration matter, remember, मैं हूं ना. Can a green card holder who has a criminal record become an American citizen? This is Attorney Naresh Gehi, and we are going to discuss this issue today. If you have a criminal record, it does not mean that you can never become a citizen. You may have a possibility of becoming an American citizen even if you have a criminal record. For example, if you have a minor criminal record such as shoplifting, which is in a very small amount, if you have a very small DUI or DWI charge, or which is something really petty. For example, you got into a physical altercation which was minor, you may be eligible. So if you have a criminal record and if you're interested in applying for citizenship, call Gehi and Associates at 718-263-5999 for a free initial personal consultation. We handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world.
Hello there, welcome to Green Card with Mr. Gehi and Shanaz. So many questions, so many topics we have to discuss week after week, bringing you some educational topics. So Mr. Gehi, I know a lot of folks are asking about deportation and how can we fix the deportation if someone we know was ordered deportation. And I know a friend who actually hired a lawyer in Manhattan, big time lawyer. The papers were in progress. He didn't attend to that case.
Oh my God.
A family member was ordered deportation, not knowing that the lawyer wasn't working on the case. He was just sitting down, and the family member was very afraid of what might happen until we switched and recommend you to take over that case. So what was the progress of that?
So I'll tell you, number one is that deportation is an issue that our community should not be afraid of, especially during the Biden administration. Sometimes you get a deportation order because you did not appear in court or you never got the notice. So you can also reopen those cases. Now let me tell you about a case wherein a person was very scared because he had a deportation order. And this person was married to an American citizen.
Yes.
So do you know that if you are married to an American citizen, even if you have a deportation order, you may be eligible for a green card. So let's talk about this one case. There's a person who came from Guyana, and he was stopped at the border.
Yes.
And after being stopped at the border, he did not know that he had to appear before the immigration court.
Right.
And the person did not appear before the immigration court because the lawyer never told him that you have to appear, it seems.
Right.
So lo and behold, what happened in the case is that the person was ordered deported. So he thought that he cannot do anything about his case. Later on, this man got married to an American citizen. So what we can do in such cases, we can apply through your US citizen spouse for a green card. Then we apply for the waiver of deportability. And we can also apply for the unlawful presence waiver if you have been unlawfully present in America. After that, you may qualify for a green card. So this means, Shanaz, that even if someone has a deportation order, does not mean that you cannot do anything. That's one very, very important thing which people have to know. So even with a deportation order, you may qualify for a green card. Now, let me talk to you about another case that I got a question from one of your shows.
Right.
The great show that you have every Thursday. On that, I got a question from someone. They said, Mr. Gehi, we looked upon you during the Shanaz show, Shanaz's show, and the question is, look at this question, what a great question. This person had a green card, and he was traveling on his green card many times. One day, immigration stopped him when he was coming through the airport because he had a criminal case before. He was never stopped before, but suddenly the officer told him, this criminal matter is serious, now you have to go before the immigration judge. you can still fight those cases. So the biggest mistake you can do is not show up in court. If you show up in court, that's going to help you. Don't just shy away from the court and not show up. Fight, and you may have legal rights. And you may also be able to get your green card back. That is very important for our viewers. And I tell our viewers that anytime if you have a date in court, don't be afraid. Meet with a good lawyer and make sure that you make your appearance before the judge and let the court know that you want to fight your case. And there may be legal theories under which you appear in court and you may even win your case. So that's what I tell people, that you should not miss a day in court.
Right, but sometimes you're not informed. You
You're
didn't
not
receive
informed.
the letter.
There are different situations, Shanaz. Let's take different examples why people don't appear in court or before USCIS. The first thing is the lawyer didn't inform him.
Right.
Second thing, the person did not get the notice. And third is intentionally the person did not show up because his friends and relatives told him don't go to the court. So don't do that. The other thing which I've seen sometimes is immigration comes to your door. Do not talk to them. Do not talk to them at all. Tell them I need a lawyer. Even if they force you that they want to talk to you, always have a lawyer talk to them, because whatever you're going to tell them, that can be held against you.
Right, so by them coming and knocking on your door, are you authorized? Are you forced to go and attend to these
No,
officers?
you need to let them know that I need a lawyer, and even if they arrest you, be nice to them. So it's my right to have a lawyer. Be respectful, be nice, and you don't even have to open the door sometimes. I tell people why. Don't open the door.
A friend of mine actually, someone knocked on their door and they went down to the precinct, fill out all the
Exactly.
paperwork, end up being arrested for no reason, and
Right.
his wife was a citizen.
Right. So the thing is that I tell people, you don't even have to open the door. Let them know later on, get to know who the person is and see a lawyer. People come to my office, they see us. Now, another time when people don't like to go to an immigration issues, this is very common in our community. Two people are married. After the marriage happened beautifully. They spent all this great money and everything. The wife has applied for the husband for the green card. And now the wife is telling, I'm not going to go for the interview. So now, this person who's married to the American citizen is worried. Now he has this interview coming up. And here the wife is saying that I'm not going with you for the interview. Immediately get a lawyer. You don't have to touch anyone's feet. You don't have to beg. If your marriage was real, if your wife or your husband is mentally torturing you, physically torturing you, go and see a lawyer. It's not worth the aggravation. I tell people what happens when you bang your head against a wall. What's going to break? Your head.
Yeah, I get a headache, and I don't like to ask more than once.
Exactly.
You're entitled for that.
Right.
Being married to an American citizen, you are entitled for that. And a lot of folks are afraid to stand up for their
So
rights.
we stand up for those people's rights.
Yes.
A lot of people from Guyana, Trinidad, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nigeria, whoever watches your show, they come in and they see us. Jamaica, actually. I see this happening a lot within our community, and I tell them to come in and see us. And what happens, even if you have that interview, we go for the interview. We let them know, okay, sir, she's not cooperating, he's not cooperating. We go, we show up. If not, we send papers out.
Right.
So that's how exactly you fight your case. Now, another thing, Shanaz, what happens is that people get this 2-year green card. They go for the interview, for the first interview. The couple got the green card, they were very happy. But after the 2-year green card, now the US citizen is saying, I want to divorce you, leave me. I'm not going to basically wait in my life until you get a green card. Those are serious issues. So at the end of the day, the best thing to do is to speak to a lawyer, make sure that you get a paperwork in order, and you can still qualify for a green card.
Gehi, your office have so many languages. Your staff speaks so
Right.
many languages here. So that's also a plus.
So that helps a lot. We've been helping people who speak Spanish, Hindi, English, Bengali, Creole, plus a lot of other Urdu and many other languages. So that's one thing. Now, another question, very, very important. was from a person from Queens. He said that he has a criminal record and someone told him that he can never become a citizen.
You always get misinterpreted.
Yeah,
The wrong
it all
information
depends upon the
sometimes.
crime.
Right.
So if you've been charged with a crime, you pled guilty, do not apply for your citizenship on your own. Because the problem is it can backfire upon you. You can be in trouble. If you have a criminal record, there is a possibility that you can still become a citizen. So go with a seasoned lawyer. Make sure that you meet with the lawyer and start your case and apply for a citizenship. We've had many cases wherein people have become citizens even when they've had a criminal record. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome, but at the end of the day, there is a chance that even if you have a criminal record, you may qualify for citizenship. Now, the third important thing which I've seen is there are people, some of them are 70 years old, they're 65 years old, and they have serious health issues, and their brains are affected because of age, because of Alzheimer's, for example. So the good news is that if you're seriously sick, if you're very sick, you don't even have to take the exam. You can have a doctor work with you, and if the doctor puts everything properly on the paper, the good news is that if the officer feels that you have a justified reason that you should not be taking the exam, you may still qualify for citizenship. So there are many ways through which you can qualify for citizenship. And a few other things which I want to tell everyone about citizenship, which not many people know about. Do you know that if you marry a US citizen, after you got a green card, after 3 years you can apply for citizenship. You don't have to wait for 5 years. If you're an abusive spouse of a US citizen, you got your green card, even if your husband or if your wife has left you, the good news is you can apply after 3 years. You don't have to wait for 5 years. So there are many pluses in becoming an American citizen. And as you rightly know, Shanaz, why don't you tell viewers the benefits of becoming a citizen?
There's a lot of benefits, especially when it comes to the law and getting on the wrong side. Sometimes you might get pulled over and
you can be deported too if you have a serious crime.
And going back to applying for citizenship, there's a on that form, which is so simple but still yet so complicated. You have to list your crimes or your status and the deportation or any kind of proceeding you had before you. So it could be simple but yet complicated if you don't know where to put these things.
So the other thing which I've seen is sometimes people do not show all the income on taxes.
Right.
So they're picking that up, and we can review everything. We can assist you by looking at everything. And then after that, we can kind of go ahead and apply for a citizenship. So citizenship is very important for everyone. And as Shanaz said, sooner or later, when you're over the age of 60, you may start needing health benefits. You may need, after 65, you need Medicaid, you need Medicare. If you're a citizen, you have a lot of benefits.
That's
so
right.
If you're not a citizen, you'll be struggling a lot without becoming a citizen. And as Shanaz rightly said it, if you get charged, and if you plead guilty, or if you're convicted of a serious crime, the sad thing is that if that crime is an aggravated felony, then the judge has the right to deport you from America. So, but if you're a citizen, you can avoid that completely. Even if you if you plead guilty to a serious crime, or if you're an American citizen, in most cases, you cannot be deported. So that's one big benefit of becoming a citizen.
Having legal representation and the right representation matters. So call the winning team, call the team that represents me and my family. Attorney Naresh Gehi, attorney at law.
So we are at basically phone number 718-577-0711, and we offer free consultation for our community. And Shanaz, the good thing is that I'm so happy to be working with you for so many years that we are blessed with a lot of
you might be out of the country and I'm still getting calls for your number, so I have your card in my hand rest. That's how handy it is, so I could hand some folks your card.
And a lot of people also take your name, that they watch your show, and you do a fabulous job. Besides basically kind of working with me in the legal sector, you've been doing a fabulous job at educating the community about medical issues.
Yes.
You've been educating people about social security. You've been talking to them about welfare laws. I think you're doing a great job.
More topics coming up, so keep.
Hello folks, this is attorney Naresh Gehi. The most common question I get is that I got married to this American citizen, and now that person is abusing me. And I'm sick and tired of all the abuse that I've been witnessing. I've been hearing this for many years. I've handled so many abusive spouse cases that I do understand the aggravation and the mental agony that one has to undergo, especially when you are on the receiving end, and especially when you are undocumented, or your papers are in the pipeline, or you haven't received the green card, and your spouse does not want to go for the green card interview. So that happens a lot. You got married and you spent all this money in this wedding celebration. You had this great party now. Now the problem is that after getting married, your American citizen spouse or your green card holder spouse is abusing you. So most people think that the problem is that I will need my American citizen spouse's signature, or I may need papers from him. The answer is that you may not need anything from him. You can self-sponsor yourself for the green card, provided you entered into the marriage in good faith, number one. Secondly, you have been subjected to extreme cruelty under the Violence Against Women's Act. So the Violence Against Women's Act also applies to men, also applies to the member of the same sex. A man can be married to a man. And if this US citizen man is abusing the other man, you can still apply as an abuser spouse. Now, how does the process work? Really simple. What you have to do, you need to make an appointment with an immigration lawyer. Tell them, hey, listen, I have been abused, and at the end of the day, my spouse is not ready to help me, and I am being subjected to a lot of cruelty. And if that's the case, if you win, you'll qualify for your green card on your own. This is Attorney Naresh Gehi from Gehi and Associates.
Hello there, welcome to another episode of Green Card with Gehi and Shanaz. All your immigration questions, all your green card questions, and you've been getting a lot of calls and a lot of concerns.
So today, Shanaz, based upon the request of your viewers and your fans, we are going to talk about consular denials and fraud waivers. So what does the word consular denial mean, and what does a fraud waiver mean? We haven't done this before. It's a very interesting topic. I would say, my apologies. It's a very interesting topic, especially because a lot of people, let's talk about Guyana, Trinidad, then let's speak about Suriname, then let's speak about Haiti, let's speak about Jamaica, let's talk about the Caribbean Islands. I think you have a lot of listeners and viewers from the Caribbean Islands on all your shows on 96, then on 77 now. Shanaz is going to be on ITV channel 77, and plus on your radio show. Which
on the radio, you can watch it 24/7 on ShanazMusicalSensation.com, because these are questions and concerns you, the viewers, have out there. So we're trying to utilize all the media form to answer your question, because Naresh Gehi's office is free initial personal consultation, and I want that everyone to take advantage of that.
All right. So the thing is that consular denials. Now, what is a consular denial? Let's explain it very slowly to our viewers. Now, you are an American citizen. You sponsored somebody. That can be your mother, can be your father, can be your brother, can be your sister, can be your children under 21, can be your children over 21 who are married, or can be your children who are over 21. Now, suddenly, after you applied, and you waited for this 1 year, or you waited for these 5 years, your relative goes to the consulate. And he went to the consulate in Guyana, and that is located in
Georgetown.
Good. So he went to the consulate in Georgetown, and after he went before the consulate has refused the visa. And you're concerned, what happened over here? That's one. You're from Trinidad, and now your relative went to the consulate in the Port of Spain. Next one is on you, for me to test your knowledge. All right? Your relative went to the consulate in Suriname.
Paramaribo.
Yes, you got it right. and he went to the consulate in Paramaribo, or your relative went to the consulate in Jamaica, and the consulate is in
Kingston, Jamaica.
all right, so you got the consulates correct. So they went for the visa interview, and that interview may be for the green card, maybe for the visitor visa, or maybe for the fiance visa, or maybe for a student visa. That visa got denied. So that happens a lot, and sometimes the consulate is giving them a document that says that an immigrant visa cannot be granted because you have committed a fraud, but you can apply for a fraud waiver.
A fraud waiver.
Yes. So we're going to talk about consular denials, what are your rights, and how you can fight them. So Mr. X, who is an American citizen, sponsors Miss Y, who's in Guyana, who's his wife. Wife goes for the interview, and the consulate feels that this is not a good marriage. That does not mean that your wife's case is completely dead. You still have rights, you can fight that case, and you will have to prove that your marriage to Miss Y is a bona fide marriage. And if you prove that, your wife can still come to America.
What are some of the proof that they're looking for? Pictures?
It's sometimes what they do, Shanaz, which I've seen now. When you go to the consulate in Guyana, when the person visits inside the room, they're calling them right inside the room, they're investigating them, and they're getting documents signed. So you have to be careful. Let your relative know not to sign any documents. Let them know that you are going to retain a lawyer. Then only you're going to be fine. That's exactly what they're doing. And sometimes you may have all the documents, you may have those pictures, you may have proof to show that you both are interacting with each other, but the consulate suspects the marriage. If that happens, immediately get a lawyer involved. Sometimes what happens is that US citizen spouse sponsors somebody in Guyana. That person lies by stating that they've not applied for a visa before, or they've been denied for a visa before. That's a fraud.
Okay, on the paper.
Yes. So that does not mean that it's the end of the case. She may be eligible for a waiver under Section 212 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, and if the waiver is approved, your spouse can come to America.
Wow, that is awesome. What about the consulate, the cases that's held up at the consulate office?
For many years.
Many years.
Yes.
You know, it's very frustrating because,
Very frustrating.
as we know, most of these consulate office is in the center. It's
Right.
in the city. Very busy. You have to take transportation, public
Not even busy, but
transportation.
sometimes they sit on those cases for no apparent reason. And you know what people from our communities have done, from the Jamaican community, from the Indian community, from the Caribbean community, from the Trinidadian community, from the Guyanese community. They go to congressmen, they write a letter. That doesn't work at all. Because what happens, they're going to get a standard letter from the congressman stating that your case is pending for a review. Same answer. They say that background checks are pending. That means nothing. There is a way around that.
Okay.
Ready for the great answer?
I am ready for the answer.
So if your relative is stuck in any of these countries, what we have done in these cases, we've taken these cases to federal court.
Federal court.
Yes, that's a high court. When you take it to federal court, it's known as a writ of mandamus in the federal court. You file it, and if your spouse, or if your children, or your mother, or your brother and sister have done nothing wrong, the good news is they should be eligible for a green card in 6 to 8 months if everything goes well. So I've done this many times because, as you rightly said, Shanaz, I've seen people waiting there, spouses waiting there, their lives are destroyed just because they've been waiting there. And people think that there's no hope if the case is with the consulate. That is incorrect. We can take this to the federal court by means of filing a writ of mandamus under 28 USC 1331. You're allowed to file a writ of mandamus wherein you are compelling the government to issue a decision on the case. The decision may work in your favor or not, but if everything is good on the case, your marriage is real, your relationship is real, then definitely you should be getting relief in your favor.
Right. Sometimes they hold back these cases for no apparent reasons, just because it's overworked, like too many cases for the consulate. And when they see a lawyer pick up the case, immediately they start opening and let's see what we could do, right?
Yes, first we write them a letter, you're right, and after that, either they work, if they don't work, we take them to court, right?
Right. When they see legal actions coming, they will start responding to the lawyer's office. Well, that's always good. I like to get, when it comes to immigration, get a legal team that knows what they're doing.
Yes, and as I said, you know what, as I said, even if they deny it, at least you can refile. But what the worst thing is to be kind of in a situation wherein you're in a limbo. A limbo means you're neither here, neither you're there. So best thing is to get an answer and either get to the bottom of your case and call it a day. So end of the day, if it's any immigration matter, even if you have been ordered deported, do you know you may still have relief? The prior results do not guarantee future outcome. We cannot win every case, folks, but we can put our best foot forward for you. And I respect all the lawyers that I've met over the years, because you know what, no one is perfect. All the lawyers do a great job, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that it's for you to judge as to whom you want to go with. But wherever you are, make sure that you check the credentials of the lawyer. Make sure that you go with a highly experienced lawyer. Make sure that you have the comfort level. And remember one thing, nobody in the world can win every case, but at the end of the day, you can always put your best foot forward and try to do the best for your client.
Attorney Naresh Gehi, when it comes to all your immigration questions, there's someone in his office ready to take your call. So call him today.
And our numbers are 718-263-5999 and our website is gehilaw.com, gehilaw.com, and this is the Jackson Heights office. And remember, our favorite offices are very close to you on Liberty Avenue, 10405 Liberty Avenue, Ozone Park, New York, 718-577-0711. And don't forget our Jamaica office. There's a lot of people from Queens Village, from Jamaica, from the Van Wyck neighborhood, and from Queens Village right up to Rosedale and Long Island and Schenectady and other places, Schenectady and all. They come into our office in Jamaica, and the number there is 718-764-6911. And even if you're coming from out of town, we are open on Saturdays and Sundays, especially for people who are coming from New Jersey, Schenectady, Florida, Connecticut, New York, Washington DC, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and all other places.
So guys, call him today and make that appointment. Come in here to Mr. Naresh Gehi's office, Gehi and Associate, as it says on the wall.
And we'll be back again with our viewers with some more news from the world of law. Shanaz and Gehi on Green Card with Gehi. Thank you for watching. And as I said, get the legal knowledge, get your paperwork done, make sure you're legal. If you're not a green card holder, get your green card. If you're not a citizen, become a citizen as soon as possible. Prior results do not guarantee future outcome. The Instant program is an attorney advertisement under the laws of the state of New York.
Can a green card holder who has a criminal record become an American citizen? This is attorney Naresh Gehi, and we are going to discuss this issue today. If you have a criminal record, it does not mean that you can never become a citizen. You may have a possibility of becoming an American citizen even if you have a criminal record. For example, if you have a minor criminal record such as shoplifting, which is in a very small amount, if you have a very small DUI or DWI charge, or which is something really petty. For example, you got into a physical altercation which was minor, you may be eligible. So if you have a criminal record and if you're interested in applying for citizenship, call Gehi and Associates at 718-263-5999 for a free initial personal consultation. We handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world.
Hey guys, welcome to Shanaz Musical Sensation on Spectrum TV channel 96 every Saturday afternoon 4:30 p.m. Repeating on Facebook as all social media so you guys could see it. I hope you're finding this your happy place every Saturday. Tell a friend that Spectrum TV channel 96 is our West Indian channel.
तूने बातें गोनी कच्चे टांगों में भी रोनी बातों की रंगोली से न खींचूं इसे होने में भांति